Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? But life just isn't moving. You're working hard, staying positive, making plans, but still, nothing clicks. Here's the truth. Sometimes logic and effort aren't enough. What if I told you that April 4th, 2025 is not just another day on the calendar? It's a powerful moment when the universe whispers through numbers. Not just any numbers, 6 sacred ones, each carrying energy that aligns with success, peace, and transformation. In Buddhist philosophy, numbers are more than symbols. They're messengers of energy, appearing when your soul is ready to shift. These 6 numbers aren't about luck. They're about alignment, about tuning into the deeper rhythm that's already moving through your life. And today you'll discover them. If you're ready to unlock insight and possibility, like this video, subscribe and turn on notifications. We share weekly wisdom to keep your energy focused and your path clear. And here's your first step. Comment below. I welcome growth and harmony into my life. By doing that, you're already shifting your energy and opening the door. Let's begin this journey. The numbers are waiting. Part 1. Number 8. The power of karma, balance, and abundance. The number 8 is more than just a lucky digit. It's a symbol of infinite flow. Turn it sideways and you'll see the sign of infinity. Continuous movement, endless energy, the cycle that never ends. In numerology, 8 represents abundance, power, and most importantly, balance. But in Buddhist teachings, that balance comes with responsibility. You see, number 8 is deeply tied to the law of karma. The idea that what you put out into the world will eventually return to you. It's not punishment or reward. It's cause and effect. You sow effort with integrity, you'll reap sustainable success. You chase gains with greed, eventually the wheel turns back around. Let's put this into a real story. Meet Daniel, the wealthy but empty entrepreneur. Daniel was a self-made millionaire by 34. He built a tech company from scratch, made aggressive investments, scaled fast, and celebrated big. On the surface, he had it all. But inside, he was drained, burnt out, constantly anxious. His relationships suffered. His sleep was broken. His mind never rested. One night, a mentor, an old Buddhist who'd once been his childhood neighbor, told him something simple. "Daniel, you've mastered gain, but you've forgotten grace." That hit hard. Daniel began to reflect. He realized he had been out of alignment. Everything was about doing, but nothing about being. He started meditating daily. He practiced gratitude. He paid off old debts, not just financial, but emotional. And most importantly, he began using his wealth not just to grow, but to give. Within a year, he didn't just feel richer, he was richer. Not just in his bank account, but in peace of mind, clarity, and purpose. That's the energy of 8 Behertus. Ambition guided by awareness. In April 2025, as this number reappears with cosmic weight, it's not just about grabbing opportunities. It's about asking yourself, am I building my life on a foundation of balance or burnout? Let 8 remind you, true abundance isn't only about money, it's about alignment. It's the sweet spot between power and peace, achievement and awareness, external gain and inner grace. This month, focus your energy like 8, firm, steady, and balanced. Because when karma flows clean, success flows effortlessly. Part 2, number 11. The voice of intuition and awakening. There's something undeniably mysterious about the number 11. In numerology, it's known as a master number, a number that doesn't just carry energy, but channels higher consciousness. It acts as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, between what is seen and what is deeply felt. If number 8 speaks of outer achievement, number 11 whispers from within. Spiritually, 11 resonates with intuition, insight, and awakening. It's the number of those who are being called, not to climb higher in the world, but to go deeper into themselves. In astrology, 11 aligns with the energy of Uranus, the planet of breakthroughs, innovation, and transformation. Uranus doesn't ask politely. It disrupts, shakes, and reveals truth in the most unexpected moments. It sparks sudden flashes of understanding, moments when everything just clicks. But here's the thing about number 11. It won't shout. It whispers. And to hear it, you must learn to be quiet within yourself. Let me tell you a story about Layla, an artist at a crossroads. Layla was a rising visual designer. She had just been offered a prestigious corporate contract that would triple her income overnight. Everyone around her said, "Take it, it's your moment." But something inside her felt off. There was a subtle resistance, a quiet pull towards something else, something less glamorous, but more aligned. While meditating one morning, she saw an image, a seed growing in a place with light, not noise. It wasn't logical. It wasn't business smart. But she listened. She turned down the corporate offer and instead used her savings to take a 3-month retreat in the mountains, combining art and mindfulness. There, she developed a new technique that would later gain international attention, not because it was trendy, but because it was true to her essence. "If I had ignored that inner voice," Layla later said, "I would have succeeded in the wrong direction." That's what number 11 is about, trusting the signal within, even when the outside world is shouting louder. In Buddhist teachings, there's a concept called vijja, the inner knowing that arises when the mind is quiet and the heart is awake. 11 invites you to slow down and reconnect with that space. So this April 2025, when the energy of 11 is strong, ask yourself, what inner voice have I been ignoring? What's one decision I'm making with fear instead of faith? What would happen if I trusted my gut just a little more? Because here's the truth. Success is sweetest when it's aligned with your soul. And guidance doesn't always come from books or advice. It often comes from stillness. Number 11 reminds you, you are not just a doer. You are a listener, a channel, a soul with a compass already within. So trust that. Lean in. The answers are already whispering. Part 3. Number 17. The strength of patience and discipline. At first glance, 17 may seem like just another number. But in the spiritual and numerological world, it carries a quiet kind of strength. A strength built not on speed, but on steadiness. When we add 1 plus 7, we return to 8. The number of abundance, karma, and mastery. But while 8 roars with power, 17 hums with perseverance. It tells us, yes, success is possible, but only through patience. In astrology, 17 is closely linked to Saturn, the planet known as the Great Teacher. Saturn doesn't offer shortcuts. Instead, it gifts us discipline, structure, and the kind of wisdom that only comes through time and trial. Think of Saturn as the strict but loving coach, pushing you through tough lessons, so your foundation is unshakable later. Nowhere is this lesson more visible than in the lives of those who've walked through the darkest nights and kept going. Meet Arjun, a story of healing through habit. At age 28, Arjun was diagnosed with clinical depression. He had lost his job, distanced from his family, and found it hard to even get out of bed. Days blurred, Nights felt endless. He had no motivation, no plan, no energy. Until one day, a therapist asked him to try something simple. Just walk 5 minutes every morning, no matter what. It sounded too small to matter, but he agreed. At first, it felt pointless. He walked in silence, sometimes in tears, but he didn't stop. 5 minutes became 10, then 20. Then, after a month, he added breathing exercises, then journaling, then small, healthy meals. And something shifted, not overnight, but over time. One day, Arjun looked back and realized he was laughing again, reconnecting with friends, writing poetry. He wasn't fixed, but he was healing. "That 5-minute walk saved me," he said. Not because it changed everything instantly, but because it taught me that slow steps are still steps. That is the essence of number 17. It's the number of the silent warrior, those who keep showing up even when no one claps, even when results take months to appear. In Buddhist practice, this resonates with the teaching of virya, diligent effort. Buddha once said, "No matter how hard the past, you can always begin again." And beginning again is what 17 asks of you, as many times as it takes. This April 2025, as the disciplined energy of 17 becomes active, ask yourself, what's one small action I can repeat, even on hard days? Where in my life do I need to commit, not with intensity, but with consistency? Because remember, success is not built in bursts of brilliance, but in quiet repetitions. 17 isn't about speed, it's about stamina. It's not about fireworks, it's about foundation. Let the energy of 17 remind you, progress isn't always loud, but it is always moving. And with patience and persistence, even the slowest climb will reach the summit. Part 4. Number 22. The Master Builder of Dreams. If there's one number in the realm of numerology that commands both respect and reverence, it's 22. Dubbed the Master Builder, 22 is known as one of the most powerful master numbers, gifted with the unique ability to turn dreams into reality. It doesn't just fantasize or wish, it rolls up its sleeves and builds. Where number 11 awakens spiritual insight, 22 grounds it. It connects the sky to the soil, bridging lofty visions with practical steps. This number whispers a powerful truth. If you can imagine it, you can create it, but only if you're willing to do the work. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a teaching that reflects this perfectly. Your work is to discover your world, and then, with all your heart, give yourself to it. 22 isn't about idle ambition. It's about disciplined devotion, purposeful creation, and staying the course, even when progress feels slow. Now let me tell you about Maya, a dreamer turned builder. Maya was a school teacher in a small town. She saw day after day students dropping out because they couldn't afford supplies, food, or even transportation. It broke her heart. She had a vision to create a nonprofit foundation that would support underprivileged children, not just with money, but with mentorship, skills, and long-term support. But she had no investors, no connections, and barely enough salary to support herself. All she had was her idea and the determination to bring it to life. So she started small. One fundraiser, then another. She taught classes on weekends, sold handmade crafts, reached out to local donors, built a website by herself. Every night after work, she gave an hour to the dream. 2 years later, her nonprofit had grown into a regional force. 5 years in, it expanded internationally, partnering with other educators, raising scholarships, building classrooms. "People think I had a grand plan," Maya said, "but all I really had was a goal and the stubbornness to keep showing up." That's the spirit of 22. In astrology, 22 resonates with Saturn, the planet of structure, responsibility, and long-term success. Saturn teaches us that anything worth having is built slowly, brick by brick, with intention and integrity. So as April 2025 unfolds, ask yourself, what dream have I been too scared to start? Where am I waiting for perfect conditions instead of just beginning? How can I combine spiritual vision with daily action? Because 22 teaches us that greatness isn't reserved for the gifted. It's created by the committed. Whether you're building a business, a family, a purpose, or a peaceful mind, the blueprint is already within you. All that's left is to build. Let 22 be your reminder that every great thing starts with one small intentional step. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to begin. Part 5, number 29, the transformation under the eclipse. There are numbers that guide, numbers that build, and then there are numbers that transform. 29 is one of them. In numerology, it's the union of two powerful digits. 2, the number of intuition, cooperation, and inner guidance. 9, the number of completion, spiritual fulfillment, and endings that pave way for beginnings. Together they form 29, a number that often appears when you're standing on the edge of a major life shift, whether you realize it or not. And in April 2025, 29 aligns with a powerful lunar eclipse, a cosmic event known for illuminating hidden truths and urging deep personal change. Eclipses aren't gentle. They shake things loose. They reveal what's no longer serving you and push you to release it, sometimes without warning. That's what 29 is about, letting go so you can rise. Meet Elena, the woman who walked away to walk into herself. Elena had built what most would call a perfect life. A stable corporate job, a well-furnished condo, a fiancé with the right credentials. Everything looked polished from the outside. But inside, she felt like she was performing a role that didn't belong to her. One night during a full moon in spring, she couldn't sleep. She stood at her balcony, heart racing, thoughts spiraling. And then a quiet but firm voice inside whispered, "This isn't you." That moment changed everything. In the weeks that followed, she broke off her engagement, left her job, and moved back to her childhood home. Everyone thought she was lost. In truth, it was the first time she was found. She spent the next year painting again, something she hadn't done in 15 years. She traveled solo. She started therapy. She cried. She healed. She rebuilt. Not the life people expected, but the life she chose. Sometimes you don't need to add anything new, Elena said. You just need the courage to let go of what was never really you. That's the essence of number 29, a threshold number. It shows up when the universe is inviting you into something greater, but only if you're willing to release the weight of what's no longer aligned. In Buddhist practice, this is the heart of letting go, not as a loss, but as a path to liberation. Like the lotus rising from the mud, true beauty often emerges after the darkness. So as the lunar eclipse of April 2025 shines down, ask yourself, what part of my life feels like it's ending? What truth have I been avoiding because it's uncomfortable? And what could I become if I allowed myself to begin again? 29 doesn't promise ease, it promises growth. And growth often requires surrender. Let this number be your sign that it's okay to close a chapter. Sometimes your next beginning is hiding behind the courage to say, this is no longer me. Because when you release what isn't yours, you make space for what truly is. Part 6, number 88. Magnified prosperity and alignment. If the number 8 symbolizes abundance, strength, and balance, then 88 is that energy amplified. Double the power, double the potential, double the responsibility. In many cultures, 88 is considered one of the luckiest numbers, especially when it comes to wealth and success. Its shape, 2 endless loops, represents the eternal flow of energy, prosperity, and karma. There's no beginning, no end, only circulation. But here's what most people miss. 88 doesn't just bring abundance. It tests how aligned you are with receiving it. Because in both numerology and Buddhist teachings, wealth isn't just about money. It's about the alignment of your thoughts, intentions, and actions with the flow of the universe. Let me tell you about Marcus, the man who changed his mind and changed his life. Marcus grew up believing that money was evil, that rich people were selfish, that wanting more was greedy. These were messages passed down from his family, ingrained deep in his subconscious. So even though he worked hard, saved diligently, and tried different ventures, he always found a way to sabotage himself. Deals would fall through, clients would ghost him, unexpected bills would drain his savings. One day, after yet another failed business pitch, Marcus had enough. He took a walk to clear his head and ended up at a small meditation center. There, during a guided session on abundance, the teacher said, "You cannot receive what you secretly believe you don't deserve." That line hit him like thunder. Marcus went home and started doing the real work, not with spreadsheets, but with self-reflection. He journaled every belief he had about money. He replaced guilt with gratitude. He studied prosperity teachings from Buddhism, including the concept of dana, the practice of giving not from obligation, but from joy. He began to see money not as something to chase or fear, but as energy, as service, as a reflection of alignment. Months later, something shifted. He launched a small online course. It did okay. Then a client referral tripled his sales. Then came a podcast invitation, then a book deal. Not because he was suddenly lucky, but because he had finally opened the channel. "Wealth didn't come when I forced it," Marcus said. "It came when I stopped pushing it away." That's the magic of 88. It shows up when you're ready to receive fully, not just with open hands, but with an open mind and heart. So this April 2025, with 88's energy glowing strong, ask yourself, what beliefs about money am I ready to rewrite? Where am I still resisting the abundance I say I want? And how can I use prosperity to serve a bigger purpose? Because true wealth isn't just about accumulation, it's about circulation, about being a vessel, not a vault. Let 88 remind you, you were never meant to struggle, only to align. And when you do, the flow begins. So now you've met them, 6 powerful numbers and 1 sacred bonus, each carrying its own unique energy, its own quiet wisdom. But let's be honest, this journey wasn't really about numbers, was it? It was about you, your intuition, your alignment, your willingness to listen when the universe speaks, softly, subtly, but always with purpose. From the resilience of 8, the awakening of 11, the grit of 17, the vision of 22, the transformation of 29, to the abundance of 88, and the divine support of 44. Each one holds a mirror up to your soul, asking, are you ready to live in alignment with your purpose? Because luck doesn't just happen, it's invited. And when your energy, actions, and beliefs align, you don't chase blessings. You become a magnet for them. So now it's your turn. Which number spoke to you the most? Drop it in the comments below and share what it awakened in you. If this message stirred something inside, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Let's keep growing, transforming, and walking this path of wisdom together. Remember, you're not here by accident, and neither are these numbers.